I always thought love meant sacrifice. That's what they told me, right? You're our practical one, Camille. You always find a way. And I did. I always found a way to pay their bills, fill their prescriptions, handle their problems. I was the machine that kept our family running, while my sister Emily floated through life on gossamer wings. Have you ever felt like the universe gave someone else all the light, leaving you nothing but shadow and responsibility? I remember that Tuesday. Nothing special about it. Just another day of staring at numbers on my laptop screen, watching my paycheck dissolve into their utility bills, electricity, gas, water, internet, the invisible threads I wove to keep their lives comfortable. And mine was an afterthought. Some days I'd sit there wondering if they ever thought about how much I gave, if they ever looked at their warm home, their full refrigerator, their working television and thought, this is here because of Camille. But they didn't. To them, I was just a constant, like gravity or air, expected, taken for granted. Emily was different. Emily was the creative soul, as Mum called her. Emily needed freedom to express herself. Emily needed dance lessons and photography courses and new clothes for parties, all paid for from the family budget I largely sustained. Emily needed and needed and needed, and I provided and provided and provided. I bought a Prague cake that night, their favourite, and wine, the good kind, not the cheap stuff I usually get for myself. I wanted to feel like daughter, not a resource, just once, just for one evening. The weight of the cake box felt like an offering, like maybe if I brought something sweet enough, delicious enough, they'd finally see me, really see me, not as their practical one, their workhorse, but as a daughter they cherished. Dad barely looked up from the sports channel when I walked in. Hey kid, you're late today. Late, as if I owed them my time, as if showing up at all wasn't a gift after working all day, then stopping to buy them treats. Mum hugged me, asked about work, the usual script. We ate cake, drank tea. Dad complained about politicians. Mum gossiped about neighbours. Emily was nowhere to be seen, probably at some party, I thought, feeling that familiar ache, that quiet, constant pain of being the responsible one. Do you know what it's like to sit in a room with the people who raised you and feel completely unseen? To laugh at their jokes, nod at their stories, all while a voice inside screams, "Look at me, really look at me." It was in the storage room where everything changed. Mom asked me to help her sort through old things. I hated that dusty, cramped space filled with yellowed memories she couldn't part with, but I said yes. I always said yes. The envelope was small, unremarkable, just a single word written on it, Will. What would you do if curiosity pulled you toward a truth you never wanted to know? My hands trembled as I opened it. Each line felt like a knife. Everything. Their apartment, bank accounts, the country house, all of it going to Emily. Only Emily. Nothing for me. Nothing for the daughter who had given everything. Have you ever felt your heart crack inside your chest? It's not dramatic like in the movies. It's quiet. So terribly quiet. Like a glass dropping on carpet. No sound. Just shards everywhere that you'll find with your bare feet for months afterward. In that moment, I saw my entire life with perfect clarity. I wasn't their daughter. I was their utility, their convenience, their ATM, their security blanket. I wasn't loved. I was used. I folded the paper, slipped it back, tucked it into my pocket. Mum returned, peering into another box. What did you find, Camille? Nothing special, Mum. Just some old photos. I smiled through the rest of the evening. While something hardened inside me, something cold and sharp and final, I looked at my father's profile, illuminated by the blue glow of the television, at my mother's hands, worn from years of housework I helped with every weekend. These people had raised me, fed me, clothed me, and then decided I was worth nothing compared to my sister. When she hugged me goodbye, she said, "We always have such a good time with you, sweetie." I nodded, afraid my voice would betray me. Would you have told them what you found? Or would you have swallowed the pain like I did, letting it curdle into something dark and powerful inside you? That night, I made a decision. No more bills. No. More medicine. No more help. Let Emily, the chosen one, the golden child, the heir, take care of them now. I called Sophie. My voice was barely a whisper. "I need you to listen." She arrived with wine and silent understanding. She held me while I broke apart and began rebuilding myself from the ruins. "They made a mistake," she said, stroking my hair as I cried. "I know," I answered, "and I've made one too, believing I mattered to them." You do matter, Camille, just not to them, not the way you should. The first days of my silence felt like freedom, like finally taking a full breath after years of drowning. I ignored their calls, deleted their messages. I started pottery classes, finding peace in shaping something beautiful from raw earth. The wheel turned, and with it, my pain transformed into something I could hold. My hands covered in clay, I created vases, cups, small figurines. Each piece contained a fragment of my anger, my hurt, and strangely, my hope, because there was hope. There, buried beneath everything else. Hope that someday I'd be free of their expectations, their assumptions, their blind selfishness. Sometimes I'd catch myself reaching for my phone, instinctively checking if they needed something. Old habits die slowly. I'd pull my hand back, remind myself, they have Emily now. They chose Emily. Let Emily deal with it. A month passed. The pottery wheel became my therapy, my sanctuary. I met new people who didn't know me as the practical one, who saw me as creative and interesting in my own right. I started building a life that didn't revolve around my parents' needs. And then Mum called. Sweetie, the utility bills came. Her voice was small, uncertain, finally seeing the shape of my absence. What's wrong? My voice was ice. Don't you have Emily? She's your heir. Let her take care of you now. The silence on the line was deafening. I could hear her confusion, her shock. She hadn't expected this, hadn't expected me to know, hadn't expected me to fight back. But Camille, we're your parents. How could you do this to me? The words burned my throat. All my life I've supported you, and you chose Emily, who doesn't even think about you. We just wanted her to have a future, she stammered. And I don't deserve one. Am I supposed to work for you and Emily forever? No, of course not. We didn't think. Exactly. You never thought about me. I hung up and cried until there were no tears left. Just hollow space where love used to be. I felt empty and full at the same time. Empty of the obligation, the constant weight of responsibility, full of a strange new energy, the power of saying no after a lifetime of yes. The days that followed were strange. I'd wake up forgetting, reaching for my laptop to pay their bills. Then I'd remember and feel both relieved and sad, because despite everything, they were still my parents. I still remember Dad teaching me to ride a bike, Mom making soup when I was sick. They weren't monsters, just blind, selfish people who couldn't see past their own assumptions. Emily called next. Typical Emily, trying to push her responsibilities onto me. The parents need help, she said, false sweetness dripping from her voice. Maybe you could reconsider and step in. My laugh was bitter. You know exactly why I stopped helping. You're the heir now. Deal with it. What are you talking about? She sounded genuinely confused. The will, Emily. I found their will. Everything goes to you. Not a single thing to me. So why should I keep paying their bills? Why should I keep buying their medicine? Let their golden child handle it. Her silence told me everything. She hadn't known. Or maybe she had, and was just shocked I'd discovered their secret. That's not fair, she finally said. Life isn't fair, I replied, echoing what Mum always told us when we complained as children. Figure it out. And I hung up. Days turned to weeks. Mum called, desperate. Dad tried too, sitting in silence on the phone, unable to find words. Emily dodged them, unwilling to sacrifice her carefree life to care for the parents who had given her everything, including what should have been mine. I heard through Sophie, who still talked to them occasionally, that they were struggling. Dad's health was deteriorating without his regular medication. The bills were piling up. Emily had tried to help once or twice, but quickly grew overwhelmed and frustrated. She wasn't used to responsibility. She'd never had to develop those muscles. Part of me, a small vindictive part I didn't like to acknowledge, felt satisfaction. Let them see. Let them understand what they'd been taking for granted all these years. Let them feel what it's like to be without their safety net, their backup plan, their Camille. But another part ached, because despite everything, I loved them. Love doesn't vanish just because someone hurts you. It lingers, stubbornly, painfully, alongside the hurt. Sophie watched me grow stronger, day by day. She saw me bloom at pottery class, make new friends, start dating again. Don't hold a grudge forever, she said one evening, as we shared pizza on my couch. They're still your parents. They messed up, but they're starting to see it. I nodded, knowing she was right, but feeling the hurt run too deep to bridge. I'm not ready, I told her. I don't know if I'll ever be ready. You don't have to forgive them today, she said. Just don't close the door completely. Then Mum called again. Her voice was different this time, humbled. We've rewritten everything, she said. It's all split evenly now between you and Emily. We realized we were unfair. Too little too late, I thought. But I said, it's not about the inheritance. It's that you didn't value me. You took my care for granted and idolized Emily just for existing. I know, she whispered. We were wrong. We see that now. I wanted to believe her, wanted to think. They'd finally understood the depth of their betrayal. But part of me wondered if they were just desperate, if they just wanted their old, reliable Camille back to solve their problems. What would you do if someone offered to patch the hole they'd torn in your heart, not because they understood your pain, but because they needed you again? I kept my distance, continued with my life. My pottery teacher said I had real talent. I started selling pieces at a local market. Small things, but they were mine, created by my hands, my vision. For the first time, I was building something for myself, not maintaining someone else's comfort. Then came the call that changed everything. Emily's voice, frantic on the phone. Dad's really sick. He needs emergency surgery. We don't have the money. Please help. My father had a heart attack. The surgery costs were astronomical. They had no way to pay. I tried to find the money, Emily said, her voice breaking. I really tried, Camille, but I can't. I don't know how to do what you do. Two emotions battled within me as I stood there, clay still wet on my hands, the resentment for years of being used, and love, raw, stubborn. Love for the father I didn't want to lose despite everything. Can hatred survive when love stakes its claim? I closed my eyes, saw Dad coaching my softball team when I was 10, saw him clumsily braiding my hair when Mum was sick, saw him crying at my high school graduation. Flawed, selfish, blind, but still my father. I'll think about it, I told Emily, and hung up. But I already knew what I would do. I wouldn't let him die. Couldn't live with myself if I did. In the end, I helped. I called friends, raised the money. I worked overtime, sold some of my best pottery pieces. I made it happen, just like I always had. But this time, it was my choice. Not obligation, not habit, but choice. The surgery was successful. Dad would live. When I visited him in the hospital, he looked small in the white bed, tubes running from his arms. Mum and Emily sat beside him, their faces drawn with worry and gratitude. Mum hugged me with tears streaming down her face. Thank you, Camille. You saved his life. We'll never forget this. I nodded, feeling strange, powerful but vulnerable, strong enough to help but wise enough now to set boundaries. I appreciate that, I said, but I can't go back to how things were. I don't want to be the family's wallet anymore. I want to live my life. She nodded, understanding flooding her eyes. We're not asking to go back. We just want you to know we love you, and we're so sorry for how we treated you. It was all I'd wanted to hear. Acknowledgement, an apology, understanding. Dad reached for my hand from his hospital bed. His fingers were cold. I was wrong, he said simply. The most words I'd heard from him in years. Emily looked at me, really looked at me, perhaps for the first time. I never saw how much you did, she admitted. I was selfish. I didn't know what to say. For years, I'd imagined this moment, them finally seeing me, finally apologizing. But now that it was happening, I felt strangely hollow, because no apology, however sincere, could erase the years I'd spent feeling invisible, used, undervalued. They say forgiveness sets you free, but what they don't tell you is that the prison door opens slowly, creaking with years of pain, and sometimes you have to walk out into the light still carrying the weight of what was done to you. Would you have forgiven them as I did? Or would you have left them to face the consequences of their choices alone? I didn't forgive them that day in the hospital, or the next day, or even the next month. Forgiveness didn't come all at once like some divine lightning bolt. It came in small moments. In Dad calling to ask how my pottery was going. In Mom showing up at my market stall, proudly telling strangers I was her daughter. In Emily offering to handle the next round of bills. I don't know if my choices were weakness or strength, if helping them made me a fool or a saint. All I know is that I chose what I could live with. I chose what felt right in the deepest part of me, beneath the hurt, beneath the anger. Because true family isn't just blood ties, it's mutual support, it's seeing each other clearly, and sometimes it's the courage to say no more until they finally hear you. Now when I visit them, I bring a cake sometimes, or flowers, but never out of obligation, never because I'm expected to. I bring gifts because I want to, and that makes all the difference. The pottery wheel still turns. I still shape clay with my hands, creating beauty from raw earth. But now I know I can also shape my life, my relationships, my boundaries. I know I can break apart and rebuild. I know I am more than what my family sees. I am Camille, not just the practical one, not just the daughter who pays the bills, but Camille, whole, complete, seen, finally seen.